folks. Thanks for joining us. I am here on Zoom. This is my first Zoom I've done for Business Spotlight, and I'm here to talk to Jemma Kehoe. Jemma is a nutritional therapist, and she's going to give us some top tips and tell us a bit about her business. Thanks for joining me, Jemma. You've been a nutritional therapist for quite some time now.
Yes, 10 years. Yeah, over 10 years now. I suppose I've always worked in healthcare, worked in pharmacy for a long time before I decided to leave my lovely pensionable managerial role in the height of the recession in 2010 and thought it would be a great idea to start practicing as a nutritional therapist. But you know what? I'm so glad I did, because I suppose, you know yourself, that phrase of, you know, if you can weather the winter, you can party anywhere in the summer. So yeah, I learned a lot business wise. It took me a good number of years, I would say, to really get things going and to carve out my path and I suppose figure out how I wanted my business to move forward. So I'm delighted that it's been able to weather the storm so far, and COVID has thrown us now many challenges, no more than yourselves, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How are you managing those challenges?
So for me, you know, I feel very fortunate. I am in the very privileged position that I can work a lot like this on Zoom. I mean, who knew? If we only knew how valuable Zoom was going to be a year ago, we would have invested in some shares. But yeah, like it has worked really well. I won't lie, there was a very worrying kind of March and April, you know, where things got very quiet and nobody knew what was going on. And it really did feel like the world had ground to a halt, and how are we ever going to get going again? But thankfully the dust settled. As I say, very fortunate to be able to pretty much do everything I normally do via phone or via online platforms like Zoom. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that things have really picked up. I've worked with a couple of lovely local businesses all through summer on some workplace wellbeing programs, and then some one-to-one clients as well. So yeah, it's been really good.
Very good. And tell me, Jemma, like people come to you for all different types of, I suppose, for all different types of reasons. What are the main things that you treat, or how do you help people then when they come into you?
So I like to work with people who really want to use diet and lifestyle tools to help them manage their health. So that could be a named diagnosed condition like cardiovascular disease or like diabetes, or it could be, you know, women with hormonal imbalances, poor energy. But mainly that's how I like to work with people best. And I feel that's when they get the best out of me, is when they have, I suppose, tangible symptoms that they really feel are influenced by their diet or their stress or their sleep, or, you know, any factor that is, I suppose, modifiable, is something that they can work on and something that they can change. I take quite a detailed history from people when I begin working with them. I get that before they ever sit down for their first session, so that I have a really good sense of the person who's going to be sat in front of me and how I can help them. And then we have our consultation. We do that for over an hour, and then I type up the recommendations that I've agreed with them during their consultation. So yeah, it's you know, I love it when people feel that they're a very engaged advocate of their own health, and then I can kind of help empower them around how their diet and lifestyle can support them to live just happier, healthier lives. And the same goes then for the workplace wellbeing programs as well. Like, we all want, you know, engaged, happy, healthy, vibrant, creative, productive people, and that's what we want to be when we're part of a team as well, you know, and we all want to feel kind of nurtured and valued. And I think that's the great thing about the workplace wellbeing programs, is that's what they often give people.
Very good. What's your most favorite thing about your job?
Oh, I love it when I get that email a couple of weeks after a session from somebody who's maybe been struggling for a long time, and they're saying, oh my God, you know, I just can't believe the improvement in my X, Y, or Z symptom. I love it. I suppose I love problem solving. So I love when someone comes to me with their problem. I actually love really complex stuff. For example, there's always one gentleman who stands out in my mind, and I know he won't mind me just referring to his story because he's very happy to talk about it very openly. But this gentleman had just like crazy elevated cholesterol, and one particular marker in his bloods that was quite worrying were his blood triglyceride levels, which are kind of, you know, from a cardiovascular health point of view, not good news. And he was also diabetic, so he had a few complications. I worked actually very closely with his cardiologist, and we together kind of collaborated on a plan because he had tried every medication possible. He was on 3 different statin cholesterol lowering medications trying to get things in check. Nothing seemed to be working. But after a lot of research and a lot of time, we identified a couple of different types of supplements and a dietary program that really worked for him. And it was just brilliant. So getting that email with his blood test results from his 3-month checkup, like things like that are brilliant. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, and honestly, Maria, I have to say I'm very fortunate in everyone that I've worked with. You know, I work with people who are just really willing to roll up their sleeves and get stuck into their own health. It's great.
It's fantastic. Do you work with children as well, Gemma?
Somewhat. So yes, you know, it's if I feel I can help them, like again, as I said, from a digestive point of view, there are certain things, and I try to be very clear with people and saying, look, I'm not really the right person for you. You know, I think there are people better skilled in other areas, perhaps with things like food aversions or hypersensitivities and things where kids really have, I suppose, name conditions that they need a very specialized individual to work with them. But yes, digestive, skin, you know, and just overall health, their immune system, things like that. I love working with kids around that.
And generally, how many sessions do people need to book, you know, on average?
On average, when people make their inquiries, I try to advise them that really a bundle of 3 sessions is what's most beneficial.
Mhm.
It's really overwhelming for the client if I think I'm only going to be working with somebody once. It's like a one-off consult. I feel like I have to give them everything I know that could possibly help them. That's really overwhelming for them. They don't know where to start or what to do. And that was the feedback I got over the years.
Yes.
So actually only this year I kind of made the decision, no, do you know what? I really only need to work with people over, you know, I suppose a mini course.
Yeah.
Then we can stage their recommendations and their dietary changes, and people get much better results. It doesn't feel like a massive project on their shoulders. And I can kind of help coach them through those changes as well over a broader amount of time.
Very good. That makes sense. And what would your top 3 tips be when it comes to nutritional health?
This is where I find it really hard because I'd happily talk for 2 hours rather than 2 minutes about top tips. Let me see. Okay, I suppose with the current environment that we are in, it's, you know, early November, we're coming into winter. Everyone's trying to mind themselves. I would say don't underestimate the value of sleep, of fresh air, and of movement. And I know that's not always possible for everybody, but even if it just means that you can stand outside with your cup of coffee at 10 o'clock in the morning for 5 or 10 minutes with your colleagues, so important. All of those things have a marked effect on immune function.
Mhm.
Don't underestimate the power of your food at the moment as well. There are so many observational studies coming out about what impact nutrients have on the management of respiratory, viral illnesses, on any number of immune issues. And you know, immune function is something we all do try to take care of, I suppose, or we are very aware of coming into the winter months. Anyway, I would say it is very much worth supplementing with some vitamin D right now. It's the one nutrient that's really to the fore when I open up my research database like Mendeley or whatever, and all those, like the papers that are being published at the moment, where they're all flooding in. There's a huge amount of them talking about nutrients like vitamin D, vitamin C. So
Yeah.
having those to hand, supplementing yourself and your family, not with mega doses, just enough to prevent deficiency, but like anywhere between 800 IUs and 1,000 IUs a day for an
Right.
adult is quite a good dose. And you know what, I would say, be kind to yourself, because I think, you know, everybody has been challenged and squeezed, I think, in the past 8, 9 months in ways they probably never imagined that they would be. I mean, who could have predicted this, you know, and the way it would evolve and unfold from, you know, financial points of view, just everyone having to upend how they work, how they operate, children, you know, like the knock on, I mean, we all know it, it's huge. Please be kind to yourself. If you need to rest, you rest. If you need to unplug for a few days and down tools, you do it. If you need help, you ask for it. If you just need to, I suppose, grieve anything that has happened that you felt, you know, shouldn't have happened. People are grieving lots of things, whether it's the loss of someone during COVID, whether it's the loss of a business. Oh God, first world problems, but the loss of holidays and breaks away, and you know, all the things that would have helped you to recharge
All of the
before.
good stuff, exactly.
Yeah, anything, you know, I would say just be kind to yourself where you possibly can.
Thanks, Gemma. And what's the best way to get in touch with you then if somebody's out there and they want to make an appointment?
So if they want to make an appointment, I would say try me on the phone. I'm on 087 122 521. Pop me an email if you'd prefer, but I do always like just to have even a brief 5-minute chat with someone before they book in, just to make sure that I'm the right person to help them. So an email to info@Jemma Kehoe Nutrition. So it's Jemma with a J, and Kehoe is KEHOE nutrition.com. Or as I say, try me on the phone.
Great. And you have a Facebook page as well. You're always putting up loads of tips and recipes and
Yeah, used to be better, Maria. It's on my to-do list. Yes, but you will find me there as well on Facebook, Jemma Kehoe Nutrition. And I also do have a Facebook group called Wellness Warriors, which really needs a bit of time and attention.
oh, very good, very good. Look, thanks for joining me this morning, Gemma. It was lovely to see you again even virtually. And we'll talk again soon, no doubt. And everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. All the best.
Thank you.